Start in a second. Why so many? Standard vector, void vector 4 using vector pointer, no vector, not a vector. Parse result using void add vector. Okay, push constant. Yeah, logically wise, push constant range. Nope. What the hell? That's all. That is the one I was looking for. Pulled from there. Set shader state bit. Let's vector compile error first. And uint32. Why can I not construct this? It should be the same as the mask type. That is probably silly, but I want to try it. Hello, Sheathan. Alright, if I pronounce that correctly. Nope, doesn't want to do that. That's really weird, man. And then we get this. What the hell? Okay, let's cast it then. I'm gonna cast it to oh, cool. So do I pronounce the TH as it like in English? Then, Sheathan. What if I just cast this to int32 type to start? Or start. Practicing, yeah, but I don't even know how to pronounce it yet. And you cannot tell me because it's just a chat. Well, you could type another word that is pronounced in the same way that you know, that I know. It compiled. Well, yeah, but I don't want to rondstrooien. What is that? uint32 type is rather. Let's just use the mask type there. And even let's use a static cost, because this kind of thing. Or maybe not. I don't know, man. This is the cost. I think the cost is good. still compile. Yeah, I also have the problem with the CH. So that's same as in change. And then the E. I mean, in Dutch, an E is pronounced as or A. And in English it's an E, which is pronounced in Dutch the same as the I in English. It's also confusing, because we see CHE, I'm like, can be she, she, everything. Learning C, yeah, I'm doing C++, totally different language. Hey, Post Bunny, it's Valentine's Day. Yes, you're right, it's February the 14th. Okay, we've got this to compile. Flags are still not set. So we need a function like this function that allows us to set the flag. So I'm gonna assume that this bit here is a single bit, and I want to set that bit in this atomic here. And I give it an or equals, I guess, something like this, right? But then yeah, so I do it real atomic relaxed. I think it's not synchronized with anything else. It's just completely standalone stuff, I think. No, I just need that it is a read modifier, right? I don't care about memory orders. So let's have a look at standard atomic. Yeah, then we need a fetch or. Atomically replaces the current value with the result of a bitwise OR of the value and argument. Operation is a read modify write operation. So this is exactly what I want. And then I just can pass a memory order. It's the second argument. So instead I'm gonna do fetch or memory order relaxed. Relax, man. I'm still not sure if this is modifying it, but I guess it is. It does return the old value, I guess. The value immediately preceding the effects of this function. Yep. Oh, we can ignore that. So this would or the well, set a bit, basically. Except of course that we have to cast it again to the type. I guess we just need exactly that. And by then it's a case of if it compiles, it works. Let's see, missile being highlighted there. Code with Cheaton says it's your motive to come to YouTube and code. It helps me concentrate. That was my first the reason I think. The rubber duck ID. Then replace rubber duck with YouTube. It worked. Okay, so now during pre-processing, we find this thing. That will be in this function as well. And then I need to call this function. I think. Yeah, so we construct them with status H flags or without, and then we set them later. But then of course I need to remember where those PushConstantRange objects are that were constructed like this. Let's first store those somewhere. They are currently being passed to a function called add PushConstant. Constant, I think. Yeah, for example, this one. So we need to keep a reference to that thing so we can later update it, and it is just being passed to add PushConstant. In fact, it's being passed like a const reference, so we need to keep a const reference even though we are going to update it. I might as well keep that in the add PushConstant object, so right here. And this is single threaded. Add PushConstant is only being accessed by the task that is derived from this add PushConstant. Tasks are single threaded-ish, so I do not need mutexes. I can just keep a pointer. Can do it anywhere, I guess. Here, before or after. Let's add it after. I just remember just a pointer. And then I'll add this list to just to the add push constant object. So that would be a second vector. That's confusing. We already have a vector like this. Okay, that one is being filled by a call to copy push constant ranges. That is being called before preprocessing or after preprocess schedule. I think this is preprocessing. Hey, little Deke has a new keyboard, but nah, new keyboard only counts when it is a mechanical keyboard. Oh, really? Brown switches and RGB, so you can type in the dark now. Oh, black keys. Totally black because my fingers have etched the characters of it. Now it's especially my left hand, and then my pinky and my ring finger, and the index finger actually. No, not the index finger, what's the middle finger. Those are very eroding. I could show you a picture of my keyboard, my old keyboard, and the keys are literally eroded. As if someone, I don't know. Anyway, there's no character anymore on it. The A and the S are completely blank. Sorry, I don't even know. ASD is it, yeah? Yeah. The D is also gone. And the E is also gone, almost gone. Really weird. Same with this keyboard that I have here. The A is half gone, the S is almost gone, the D is completely gone, and the E is half gone. On the other on the older keyboard that I have. But that S hit only comes from my left hand for some reason. So my right hand, the right hand keys are not as eroded. Two fingers, that's a little. I taught myself typing, you know, of course, from early age. And I got as far as using, I think, 4 fingers and a thumb, of course. So I did everything with my index finger and my middle finger. But then there's a speed limit. So at some point I forced myself to switch to 10 finger typing. Which kind of failed. I'm still not using the official way to type with 10 fingers. It's still more or less my own system. Oh well. Okay, so we were here, I was thinking about this. And the problem is, can I use that same vector? I could use that vector to store all the user PushConstantRange objects in, because that happens in initialize state, which is before this state. And then when we start preprocessing, the preprocessing would use that to set the bits on it. And then I would override it with something else. Feels a bit scary though. If later I would switch to a different, I mean later in the range of this characteristic, I would switch to a different shader. It uses a different range. Then I would already have called this function overriding that vector. So probably better to at least begin with making a separate copy, I guess. Plus, it's actually not even true what I say. I cannot use it. The type is different. I need to store const pointers. Let's call it the user PushConstantRanges. Okay, new vector, I'm going to add it to that. So this now simply remembers all the calls to add push constants. And I probably should add debug code that checks that I don't add the same thing twice, as usual. Now let's put it here. Give it its own comment. Keep a list, yeah, okay, so we keep the list, we have just one of each. And then, when we detect that some push constant range is being used in a shader, I have to call yeah, that function on the range that is stored. Just write this. I might need an accessor, but I'm not sure yet. So inside this function, we create a push constant range, and then I call add push constant. I call insert push constant range on the add push constant object. And this object also has a vector now with pointers to push constant ranges that might need updating. So I guess I don't have to change anything here. I can just change it here. Yeah, let's use a marker then. MA to top-ish. There is the thing that I want to look for. So I want to run over all that, which is then, let's not use auto. You run over all those pointers. That's a type. And then if something, we call that function on. That function being set shadow bit, and we must pass a bit. So we set the bit that we did get passed. That would be the bit that is set in this thing here. So that is PushConstantRange, and then get the bit, or the mask. And that will be that one. For which I hope we have an yeah, we do. We have an accessor here. That's a flags though. Yeah. So shadow bit only wants one bit. I don't think that's possible. I mean, bits is just an enum, right? And I stored it in a variable, so there's no way I know which enum that is unless I store it as an enum, and I didn't. The reason I didn't is because the same object is being used to combine those flags. So let's just pass it as flags, so I can pass it here. Yeah, you can still cast it to a mask type, so it would work either way. If you have multiple bits set, it just sets more of them. So it's more like a node, it doesn't really even... That would still work if you want to set more bits. But yeah, I'm not gonna call it set shader bits when I never use it to set more than one bit at a time. The cast would still work. So you can use that now. And we want to call it if this range overlaps with the range that is being used, right? I mean, if a part of this range, okay, let me think. I think they just need to partially overlap, right? And then you have to set a bit. I think if a part of this bit, sorry, if a part of this range is used in a certain shader, then we must set a bit. And all of this range is supposed to be used. Well, maybe not, but that's the only thing I know. That this whole range is theoretically being used. So if there is a partial overlap, then that partial overlap is being used in that shader. So we need to detect if there is a partial overlap here between the two. I think I have something called PushConstantRange compare. PushConstantRange. Thinking ahead. PushConstantRange compare. Oh, you do. Not sure how it works yet. Why is that Vulkan here? Vulkan. I don't think I need that. I'm inside Vulkan. Okay. Yeah, compare is just an empty struct with callable member function in it. That it's a callable object because of that. And we can just pass two push constant ranges, and then it should return, I think, 2 if they overlap. However, yeah, it's not going to work. I need this, but without that part. Yeah, it also has a weird assert. I just need this. I need something completely different than this one too. Okay, let's not do that. I just want to see if they overlap. Well, they do if they overlap if they do not not overlap. So now I must test inside here if they do not overlap. They do not overlap if the end of one is less than the beginning of the other, or the other way around. And the end which one? Let's begin with they must be of the same type. The type index must be the same. So PushConstantRange is 1 and the other one is oh, no, using them double. Let's call this one user. So the index is the same, and then I need to know the end. Let's just call it end here. It's less than or equal. The begin of the other one. Begin here is just offset, right? Or the other way around. I have offset and size. Yeah, I just do offset plus size here. That should do it. Runs over all the user push constant range objects, and then for each of them that has the same type index, and its end is not less than the beginning of this one or the other way around. So its begin is larger than the end of this one, and then then they overlap. If not the case, right? So I'll write the English comment also, because it might not be 100% clear immediately. So you have the user objects range, partially overlaps with the range that we found to be used in PushConstantRange shader state flags in the shader stage. Then set a shader stage bit no, also in the user object, I guess, something like that. It's not really true, by the way. No, let's not do that. The user object's range partially overlaps. It can only be overlapping if it is the same type. So this is this first compare is really part of the overlap test. I'll add a comment anyway. Nah, whatever. So yeah, I think now we have fixed this, right? It's just an assert. What? Expected semicolon. Oh. It works. No more validation errors. No. If the other one also works, this one doesn't have push constant, but this one did. Sorry, this one did. Also works. Doesn't do anything. Ridiculous. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, did it go there? And get status. I think I can just remove this bug file. And right offset. What is this? That's a push constant range. Yeah. Okay, so I fixed this FIXME here because there's no longer flags. Those flags are no longer there. Before I commit it, maybe I should print what the result is, so I can actually see that we end up with both bits being set. I mean, it worked, so it probably is the case, but I just want to see it in the debug output as well. And another FIXME here for the same thing. Yeah, and so I can add just debug output to the set shader bit, and now we say I update it from there to there with this pointer, and then I have to debug output that I want, I think. Okay, so what was it called? Set shader bit. Yeah. I don't know, something like this. DC has not been declared. That's new. And again, not print flags, I think. What is it talking about here? Flags, cannot print flags. It needs 2 pages for that to tell me that it cannot print flags. Whoops. Silly. Okay, and then we include VK utils print flags, then as source Vulkan. Okay, utils print flags. That includes even IO stream. Horrible. Really, is that necessary? They're probably unavoidable to include IO stream anyway. No, we need it for the bloody template. Templates are very heavy on compilation. Type traits and vulkan.hpp have also been included. So this one can go. Nope, still not happy. No match for operator or operands or unsigned int and VK shader flags, stage flags. What a mess. So what you get when you want to store flags as an atomic, and therefore have as to you the underlying type, and suddenly nothing works anymore. What the hell? Now I'm back. Compiled. Oh, of course it compiled. What was I doing? What is the last thing I did? Debug up. And that compiled. So let's run this again. Write it here. What was the debug output? Just look for that. Okay, so we change this from nothing to vertex, and that happens when it finds that push constant mx position is being used in the vertex shape, which is inside push constant is used in vertex here. Directly after, looking for push constant mx position found. I guess that is while preprocessing this. Yeah, so it's preprocessing this function here, and we have a push constant here, and it knows that it has to look for that, so it looks for that, it finds it, and it says yay, it's being used in a vertex here, because this is a vertex here. And then we set on this object here, we set that bit, obviously. So that works like what is the expression? Like a charm? I don't know. And here's another one. And that should be while looking for push constant and texture index. You have to look at blue. Looking for mx position not found, texture index is found, therefore push constant is used in fragment shader. Entering push constant, declaration context, DLSL-ID full is used in, push constant and texture index, fragment, blah blah blah. Entering push constant range, set shader bit fragment. That one went from not being used to used in the fragment shader. And that should be all, I think. So we do it again, but this time nothing changes. Okay, we do that a lot. I'll think about that. Yeah. Sneeze. Yeah, okay. On the scale of Richter. Now this one is the same as that one, and as that one, and as that one. These are also the same. So we should see changes, I think, for both, because they're different objects. No, that's not true. That's not true, that's not true. So yeah, I have two tasks, this one and this one, and both set that bit, and they do that concurrently, but that works because it's an atomic. And I think those tasks correspond to the 2 pipeline factories. Yeah. Nevertheless, each of them does it twice per stage. Does that have any logic? Yes, because I made it a range. Am I pre-processing them? I guess so. It's kind of strange though. Why would it be doing that so often? No, this is nonsense what I said. This is not... we just have 2 user objects. That's a user object. And of course the same user object is always used in the vertex shader and the other one is always used in the fragment shader because that's how it is. But yeah, all in all, I would say these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 outputs. 6. It seems that we have 4 times a preprocess. And 2 I can understand because there's just 2 pipeline factories, but then the last factor of 2. Might be silly, you know, when a program is working, that I spend so much time on a little thing, like not understanding why it prints something twice as often as I think it should have done. But hey, if we cannot explain it, it might be a bug. So if I grab for, let's say, preprocess, yeah, these are just 1 for the vertex and 1 for the fragment. And then indeed we have 8 preprocesses. Now I have a fragment 0 once, twice. That's just the 2 different pipeline factories. And then this one as well. Okay, I get that. I get that part. So the only part that I do not get then is the vertex shader being compiled, or at least preprocessed twice. For the same pipeline factory. Why would that happen? Yeah, Post Bunny, can you explain to Mr. Quack what a Vulkan engine is? Type of software. It is software, yeah. Here it is. What is a Vulkan engine? A graphics program that uses the Vulkan API, a library plus a driver that talks directly to the GPU. An engine is a bunch of functions that do complex tasks so that you can use Vulkan with a simpler syntax. I think that came from ChatGPT originally. Oh boy. Yeah, and that's what Postbunny said. We're making simpler interface. That's the idea, right? At the last FIXME, the user does no longer have to pass those flags. Why is it compiling my vertex shader twice? Do I have time to even look at that? I guess I must make time. Well, good luck with Vulkan then. Don't think they support Rust yet. Let's see. Post Bunny, but there's a limit to that. I've been annoyed my whole life by people going down to the lowest possible level so that even the most stupidest person in school can still understand it. And then they wonder why I was staring out of the window and not paying attention to class. I think we also have to do sometimes the other way around and adjust something for the smartest people around. And just ignore the people that are not as smart, because that's what they are doing on most schools. They just ignore the people that are too smart. It's been always really annoying me. Okay, this case it doesn't have anything to do with being smart. If you just don't know that, it's more knowledge. But it's let's say we would, if during this stream I would continuously be explaining every question down to the lowest possible level, I would not be able to do any work, and anyone who has a little bit of knowledge of Vulkan or graphics would be bored like hell, because I would non-stop explaining one-on-one basic things. I think there's going to be a lot of improvement in teaching once AI starts to teach people. Then you really get your private teacher, and everyone can go at their own pace. So if someone is really smart, then the AI will just go fast. I mean, maybe you can work 10 times as fast as someone else. You are excused if you're 13, Mr. Quark. So it's not my intention to make you scared to ask questions. Please ask any question you want. So maybe you will be taught by an AI at some point, Mr. Quark. I think it has advantages if you are not, you know, in the middle. Because generally school is just aimed at the masses. And if you're smart, you just have to slow down. It's kind of a waste of time sometimes. Well, ChatGPT is not an AI. ChatGPT is just it's just to laugh about. ChatGPT gives answers like it knows, but they're pretty useless because they can be wrong so often, actually, that you cannot use the answers anyway without verifying them. You might as well Google directly. Yeah, the whole country, I don't know what he meant. I assumed he meant school. Maybe he means that in his country, ChatGPT is banned from schools. That seems quite obvious. But yeah, you can still not stop kids from accessing ChatGPT when they're at home, I think. But yeah, I don't think it helps you, so I wouldn't do that. Certainly not the state ChatGPT is currently in. It won't help you at all. Yes. Oh, wow. I think it's a smart move. Now I read something that Google was in panic because they were afraid to lose their income. I mean, 60% of the income comes from advertising through Google, so search engine advertisement. And they have, of course, the largest market share in that for a long time. It's to Google something is wait, I'm back in a few minutes, I think. 2 minutes. Back. Found the button. Bloop. No, really, Mr. Quark, you're not missing anything. Absolutely not. Now, just before the doorbell rang, I was saying something, but I forgot what it was. I'm using Arch. Arch Linux. Difficult to install though, I think. Let me think. Why is it compiling this vertex shader twice and how can I detect it? Okay, I'm going to edit window.h. Let's set this to one factory. Let's see if we can still disable this without breaking everything. What did I grab for? Purposes, for example. See, the fragment share is done twice. That is weird. So let's run this in the debugger. Break purposes. Run. So, Mr. Quark, you write programs as a hobby, say? See, this is the first call. Nothing wrong with that. People says obviously being called from characteristic preprocess. 3.5. Threeple 1 is the other one. Yeah, school takes a lot of time, I guess. It's just that last I saw an interesting YouTube and I thought that maybe you would be interested, so look at it and then maybe write a program for it. It's just a small program, you know, that you can play with it. It's a mathematic, but not too hard, I think. It has to interest you, of course, but got the feeling that if you start with it, that it would really interest you to play with this. So the other day I gave that URL here, but of course now I lost it again. I'll try to find it again. This one. Any language. Just bookmark that link and then watch it. So it contains a GCD, so that stands for the greatest common divisor. It just means the largest integer that divides both arguments. So let's finish this. So it has two arguments, in this case n and the function r. It's a function of n minus 1, so the previous value of this series here. It has also examples. So say you just set r1 to 7, then r2, then this n is 2, is equals to r2 minus 1, so this is r1, aka 7. So the previous value is 7, plus the greatest common divisor of, well, n is currently 2, so that's 2, comma 7, because 7 was the previous value. So this 2 appears also here, and this 7 also appears here. And then you have to calculate that, so then you must know what the GCD is. Most I thought maybe you don't know what that is, but it's just the largest integer that divides both 2 and 7. So in this case that would be 1. You can write your own algorithm very easily for the GCD, but you can also just use a library or look it up how to code it. And I think there's even a standard GCD. I never used it, but I would be surprised if it doesn't exist. Greatest common divisor. Yeah, it's just a part of the standard even. So that's all the mathematics there is. But then if you continue like a bit, primes. That's a good. He does this funny. So. I love that part. Surprisingly, all these numbers are primes. There's a big stamp on it. And that's kind of surprising. Why on earth are all these numbers primes? Because it's just addition and that's it. Well, and the GCD. That is super simple. Super simple. If you watch this and you pause every minute or whenever you need to pause, and you think about it, you will understand it because it is simple. Simple as in you can understand it if you think hard enough. You don't need any knowledge that you do not already have. I just explained what the greatest common divisor is. For example, here the greatest common divisor of 11 and 22 is of course 11, because 11 is divisible by 11 and 22 is divisible by 11. And the greatest common divisor of 12 and 33 is 3, because 3 is the largest integer that divides both 12 and 33. But you can just use the std GCD from C++. Or like I said, you can look it up. The way to calculate it is just you named it. You can also write your own function. It's really simple. You have two numbers. You find out which is the smallest one, so in this case 12. And then you subtract the smallest one from the larger one until it's no longer possible to subtract it. In other words, you take the modulo of that. So 33 modulo 12. But you can subtract it twice. So yeah, in total you subtract 24 and then you are left with 7. Yes, 33 modulo 12 is 7. Now 7 is small. It's the smallest number. So now I do the other way around. You say 12 modulo 7 is 5. And then you have 7 and 5. And I don't know where I got the 3 from. I must have made a mistake. Yeah, it's 8. Sorry. 33 minus 12 is... sorry, 33 minus 24 is... 9, not 7. And then 12 modulo 9 is 3. And then 9 modulo 3 is 0. And because that's 0, the 3 is the answer. Got the URL, I pasted the URL. Really, man, look at it, it's super interesting. I wish I had time to play with it. No, that's... I'm sure I wrote the GCD myself. Yes, that's a modulo. Yeah, let's say we want to calculate the GCD, the greatest common divisor between this number and, I don't know, and this number. What is the greatest common divisor between those two? Well, this is the smaller number. So we print this percentage that. And now that's obviously smaller than 531 because it's the modulo of that. So now the smallest numbers are this one and that one. So you calculate now this one, modulo 221, it's smaller. And you print smaller one, modulo that. And then you print this one, modulo that. And then you print this one, modulo that, and then you print this one, modulo that. And this is 0, therefore 1 is the greatest common divisor. In other words, they don't have any factor in common. See, it's relatively easy to program because it just means you have to keep track of what is small. No, you just you make a for loop for doing modulo stuff until you get to 0. It's an interesting function to write if you're a beginner. You can also understand it easily how it works if you have a yeah, I would rather explain that visually. I don't know, with text. You can use blocks of wood. So say this is a block of wood, and you have you put a number of them on a row, and then you want to know what is the greatest common divisor between one such row and another row, and then that you can easily explain that, you know, how that works. Let me think. For example, the greatest common divisor between 4 and 6. So we put 6 blocks on a row, and we put 4 blocks on a row. Then if you subtract this from that, so what you this is the modulo. 6 modulo 4 is 2, which is just, you know, what extends. So maybe I should make this one a bit longer than even. So we could make it 10. So we add, let's say I add 4 extra. So now it's 4 plus 4 plus 2 is 10 in total, and this is 4, and we want to know what is the greatest common divisor between 10 and 4. Well, you can subtract 4 from the 10 until you can no longer do that, and then the remainder is 2. Still the same 2, of course, because this is 2 times 4 plus something that is smaller than 4. So modulo 10 modulo 4 equals 2. That's the rest that you're left over with. And then we do it again. So now we had 4 was the smallest, and now 2 is the smallest. And now you see that this 2 fits exactly. And so if you do the modulo again, you get 0. But that means that 2 blocks fit exactly the 4 blocks that you have. Therefore, 2 divides 4. So 2 is the answer. Both 10 and 4 can be seen as existing of 2 blocks. So this is 4 was 2 blocks plus 2 blocks, and 5 is 2 blocks plus 2 blocks plus 2 blocks plus 2 blocks plus 2 blocks. So both are divisible by 2 blocks. Yeah, but understanding it is always nice, instead of just dumb using a library function and not knowing how it works. You can also apply this same trick now in with finite fields finite fields even, let's say, I don't know. I wrote something somewhere. Is it in my, I don't think so. GCD. No. I think must be in projects. I think maybe a lib color field. Nope. Well, then it must be part of, say, libECC, I think. Yeah, it's calculated. GCD Alt. Why that doesn't work? Nobody knows. This works. So here we do it with polynomials of a limited degree over a finite field. And say what? But the idea is the same. It's just a very small function. So the number is represented by polynomial coefficients now. And just put those in 0 and 1. And now we find which one is the smallest. So the smallest is 0 or 1. We do something that is basically the same as modulo. And now we swap. After a modulo, the largest becomes the smallest and the smallest becomes the largest. So at the end of the loop, we just change the largest from 1 to 0 and the other way around. And for smallest, the same thing. And now we do it again. Now we are done when there is well, nothing left. Then the previous smallest value was the answer. So the hard part is then to understand how the hell this is a modulo. But yeah, then you have to understand how those pseudo numbers work. But it still works. That's a funny thing of it. Just an algorithm that works even for things that are not really numbers. Or they are numbers, but not numbers like you know it. And in C++ also, but then for normal numbers, not for what is the correct expression for those things? Just finite fields or color fields, I guess. So the GCD of a finite field. Greatest common divisor of two polynomials over a finite field. You can also watch it, but it's higher mathematics and you won't understand. I'm just saying there is more in mathematics than the boring stuff you get at your age at school. Mathematics is super interesting. Personally, I find finite fields super interesting as well. So also the greatest common divisor in that. Anyway, forget that. Just look at the link that I pasted in the chat and then play with that. It's really super interesting. And I still don't know why my program is being compiled twice. The shader, the vertex shader, I mean. I hated school. I never liked school. But that's a problem with school. It was boring and not interesting. Plus, you're forced to learn things that do not interest you. Things become much more interesting, more fun and more interesting when you are allowed to learn exactly what you are interested in. You got to keep the interest alive. And certain subjects that would fall under mathematics, which sucks when you have to do it at school, are just super interesting. So do not make the link between, let's say you hate school, I hated school. I didn't hate mathematics, the subject mathematics on school, but the reason was that I never had to do anything for it. It didn't cost me any time. I just got high grades without doing anything for math, so there wasn't any reason to hate it. But it wasn't interesting either. It was just boring. And much later, I discovered, the higher mathematics, or the kind of mathematics you get at the university. Then it becomes interesting, and there is a lot of stuff on YouTube, mathematical-oriented YouTube channels. That is just amazingly interesting. And then that's a good source, I think. YouTube is a good source for learning how interesting mathematics can be. No, I didn't like anything. I hated everything. It was cool. I did not start liking school until I was at the university. And then it got a little bit more interesting. A little bit more challenging, at least. That kept my interest. But only when you start studying for yourself, by yourself, because you want to know something, you just want to know it, and you start studying it because you start studying the subject. Then things are interesting. And then usually I wanted to know something because I had a goal with it. And school is also, they just come with the subjects and they don't even motivate you. You just, sorry, you have to know this. Yeah, what for? Yeah, it's going to be useful maybe sometimes in the future. For what? Shut up and learn. I mean, what they should do is, hey guys, you want to build a robot together? Yay, let's build a robot together. Well, okay, now we order some motors and some stuff, and then gonna put stuff together, and then along the way you're gonna need to learn a lot of stuff, otherwise you will not be able to put a robot together. You'll need to learn about electronics, and you need to learn about programming, and you will be motivated like hell. Especially if you see, little progress stuff. maybe you would first start to build a little spider that can run over the table, and then you go a bit bigger because you already learned something during building the spider. So now you can make a bigger project for which you need even more knowledge, but that would be a much better way to learn, I think. There's nothing wrong with learning Rust, I think, if you're 13. Any language is good, and Rust would be probably a pretty good language to start with. And Python is also a very good language to know. There you have the motivation. He just wants to learn it, so do it. Motivation is more important than any other reason that you can think of. Well, if you love it, then it's good for you. I never looked at it. You know, it's like people from different backgrounds or people that know different languages, they talk down on other groups that know different languages. So yeah, the people that I talk with are always C++ programmers, and they don't have much good to say about JavaScript. But I'm sure it's the other way around as well. So this is the first time we stop here. I'm gonna try to find out why preprocess is being called, okay? For the second time, that is. I guess 0 is the preprocess. Sorry, the vertex shader. And it is being called because we are calling it from characteristic range multiplex implementation. When preprocess shaders and preprocess shaders and realize descriptor set layout is being called. I guess that is indeed it's just going to happen every time, right? Not sure. It's confusing. Do I have a fill index here? I have a fill index, but that's a function. M fill index 0. So if I do continue up, maybe can I print a shader info? It should have been printed to begin with. Okay, so now we see that is a fragment shader. I'm gonna do continue again, and now we have again fragment shader. What? I don't know about fragment shaders. Kill. Okay. What the hell? Controlling validation error. Blah, blah, blah. This gives you binding users never been updated. Yeah, we saw that one before. There must be a race condition in updating. Weird. updating is done separately from constructing the graphics pipeline, I guess. I don't know what to concentrate on next. Shall I try to fix this bug, or shall I continue with push constants, or shall I look at, you know, why the fragment shader is being compiled twice, which I don't like. Too many things that I can choose from. I'm going to switch tabs so I don't see the chat for a bit. Otherwise I get distracted and I keep chatting with people. This is definitely something I need to fix at some point. Preferably later. Though it stops me from debugging this current problem or not. One from the beginning. Condition breakpoint 1. Shader info imp stage equals vertex. Continue. And so this is the second time that we are pre-processing a vertex shader. And there's only one vertex shader, so this should be the same one. Squares.vert.glsl. Yeah. Even has the same hash. So I should not be trying to actually compile it, because the hash is the same as with the previous thing. But I'm still trying to pre-process it. Isn't that a bit silly? Might as well skip that part as well, if the hash is known already. It's not doing anything. Anyway, with the continue, I should not stop again, because I thought there was only 2. Yeah, well, we crash now. What? It's never being updated at all. It's more than a race condition. But we're also not running into my breakpoint more than 2 times. So I guess it just happens for every fill index. I can print that still. It's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so the compilation has been skipped if we pass shader index to get shader info of the application instance, and that returns a shader info cache that has a module set. This is being set. And then I skip compilation for the recompilation. Now this thing can only be accessed if we are able to get this log here. The shader info cache also has a task mutex. Yep. What a wonder what would happen if I just clear this vector here at the end. Though probably needed after preprocessing still for the compiling. Yeah, here. Then after build shaders I could just clear it, and then I will also not try to preprocess again, I would say. Index size. Push back, so it's only added then as a add shader. And add shader is being called. It's a slight difference between shaders that need compiling and shaders that are needed but are already compiled. So I'm afraid if I just clear the vector that I'll end up with a pipeline without any shaders. That would not be a good thing. Aren't there any other things going wrong if I just keep preprocessing again? It has to be. Something has to go wrong. I want to try what happens if I don't call preprocess1 again for the same shader index. Can I not just added to the shader info, if it is already compiled or not. Yeah, that is new text locked and everything. Let's see. So it returns a shader info cache, which is derived from shader info, to which I can add I'm gonna try this, but first commit then what I have now. Yeah, do I need this task mutex to be set when checking this? I don't think I do. What exactly was it used for? To make sure that there's only one task that compiles this. But that means that some task gets this mutex, compiles it, sets this module, such as handle, Unix shadow model, pointer, whatever, and then sets the boolean flag, and therefore it sets a boolean flag the moment it has this task mutex. So there is only one writer that will ever set it. And then after I unlock this mutex, people can read it. Now would still be able to, let's say, I'm still compiling it and I'm about to set the flag. And then someone else is already going to check if it was compiled or not. It's possible. But no, we're talking about different fill indexes, so it's kind of the same task it's doing it. Definitely. Although, wait, this is an object that is stored in the application. Yeah, it's difficult. I think that it's possible that we just don't call preprocess at all, and then just use an existing shader module. So the question is, how many other side effects does calling the preprocess have on the information, on the create info that is needed for the pipeline? Yeah, and I have no clue. But the very least, I'm afraid. This boolean should theoretically be an atomic. We might get all kinds of problems again with copy constructors. Tja. There we go again. Yeah, I guess that theoretically I should look more closely where exactly, or rather when exactly, I'm trying to move this to make sure that I'm not doing something weird then by moving the atomic. And it says it cannot move it required from. Your user deleted function. It's not saying it. Oh, here it's moving. Yeah, just the move thing of my share info cache. And when is that being moved then? Hold on, I'll refer this guy to Discord, I guess. Yeah, it's only I want to know again, you know, it's this time of the day again. Is it that's the right link? Scary. 6:23. Oh, what the mother, what the, what? I'm too lazy. Never pay attention. I had a visitor today, starting at 11, like here. So I was like, okay, let's sell it here instead of at 624, which I wanted to do. So I sold it at 622. And then afterwards I had a quick look and I was like, okay, that was the peak. And then I turned everything off because I had a visitor. Yep, it went through 624, so that was an expensive visit. And then, okay, only 624, it goes down again. And then it went up to 620, blah, 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 blah. And a peak here at 629 almost. And I have missed this completely. And then it dropped again. This is ridiculous. What the hell happens here? I mean, this is where you make your gain, right? You just buy at 6.15 and you sell an hour later at 6.30. That's a very nice gain. And I'm just too lazy. Oh well, too lazy. I'm here streaming instead of watching these graphs. Otherwise I would have bought here, definitely. I have the feeling that, let's say, if I was watching the graph the whole day, I would have sold at, I would have bought probably here, let's say, what is it, 617, and sold at 629. That's a difference of 12. Let's say times 20 stocks, 20 times 12, 240 euros. But yeah, well, 240 euros, 240 euros. Still, but you know, but is it worth it to spend hours and hours looking at those graphs, not being able to do anything else really? I don't know. How can I be depressed or sad because I didn't make money instead of I didn't lose anything or anything. What about the other one? Yeah, I have another one these days. This one. I told you about this one. It went up to 1400 today. Excuse me, also missed that one. Unbelievable. Yeah, I should have sold here. I had planned to do that. Why didn't I do that? Well, I wanted to sell at 613.97. I'm just, I don't know. Am I too lazy or what is it? I'm probably too lazy. But it's now back. It's now back at 1390. Yeah, still, you know, if you sell here and you buy there again, it's still making money, eh? Not watching is nothing. You had got to do both, sell and buy, or buy and sell. And then the difference is what you make. If you don't do anything, you don't make any money. Okay, I'm just kind of pissed off here. Yeah, alternatives is that you guys don't see me at all during the day, only in the evening, few hours. I'm not even sure if I'm happy with that myself, but on the other hand, you know. Okay, I'm gonna stop the stream. Yeah, only 4 viewers, 3 viewers. I don't know what I said. No, it's okay.